Welcome to Dadpreneur, the podcast tailor-made for the modern man balancing personal development, business, and family. This is Dadpreneur.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Dadpreneur podcast, where we talk about all things man, even the stuff men don't want to talk about. I'm your co-host, Billy G.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jarrod.
And today's topic is inside the mind of a man, right? Me and Jarrod we're talking about it, and we were like, you know what, we should maybe talk about like our side of things a little bit, like maybe some of the reasons that we make the decisions that we do, because I think it can get confusing for the opposite sex when we do certain things because they just maybe don't understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, I think more times than not, we as men are more similar in a lot of ways than even we might realize, you know, after speaking to some other people that are in, you know, marriages or relationships, and I hear things that they're not necessarily complaining about, but just kind of venting about or trying to see a man's perspective on it, right? Which is exactly why we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, look, for what it's worth, like, I would love to listen to a female podcast on this subject and just understand where the mind of a woman is coming from on certain things.
Same.
Yeah.
So, and look, it's not to say that it's not understandable. Some of their situations that they do have issues with, it is understandable, but it's also, in our minds, it's I guess
completely logical. It makes complete sense. Yeah.
Correct. Right. Yes. So I guess for starters, I'll kick it off with the topic of cleaning. Right.
Okay.
This is usually a pretty common one.
Yeah.
And when I say cleaning, I don't mean, you know, my wife specifically. However, I would say that is a common issue that's in our house, you know. So I'll speak on my own situation specifically because that's all I could really do.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, she's always asking why I don't do those types of things more. And I have the same answer as always, which is like, let's hire a cleaning lady, you know? And her automatic rebuttal is, why would I pay someone to do something that I'm capable of doing?
Yeah. Or that
you're
capable of doing.
What would my rebuttal be, do you think?
What?
As a man, what do you think?
I'll just pay for it.
Correct. Yeah.
I get it.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do it either.
Yeah, I'm not Consuela. I don't work and then want to come home and, you know, automatically, I clean.
Yeah.
So that's my immediate thing is like, I'll pay someone. I understand that you have to find someone that you trust and it has to be a referral. But again, it's a hard argument to have.
Well, you also have the means to do that, right? So like there are people who definitely do not. It's really not really an option, you know? So like they come home at the end of their day and it's like it's not really they don't have a choice. Like they have to tidy up the house or honestly, like some people are disgusting and they just don't.
Yeah.
They live in filth and squalor. I'm personally not one who can live that way. And I don't know about you, but like, and this is like maybe gonna go against like the gender role people, you know what I mean? But like the way I've always viewed it in, you know, multiple relationships that I've had is that I have like my responsibilities and then like you have your responsibilities, right? And that's not to say that I can't help you with yours and that you can't help me with mine, but I know that I do mine automatically. Like they just happen, right? Paying the bills, going to work, taking the trash out. Like I would never let my wife or girlfriend take the trash out.
Yeah.
Like, that's my job. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. I'll take care of it. But like there are just certain things that like I automatically do. And there are certain things that like I don't really realize need to be done.
Correct.
Because maybe I'm kind of used to the other person doing that.
Yeah.
The dishes, cleaning the countertops, mopping the floors. You know, am I capable of doing those things? Absolutely. You know, I've done all of it before. But I think when I'm in the relationship setting and like with a partner, we're in a home, it just almost feels like, I don't know, it just almost feels like maybe I shouldn't expect that to happen, but I kind of do. Does that make sense?
No, I understand. My thing is like exactly what you're saying. Like we kind of have our roles,
Our
whatever.
gender role, whatever.
And it's pretty much the same as you just said. However, look, I'm not great about the trash. Like sometimes like I'm like, I'll do it in the morning. And then these guys they happen to come at 6 a.m., you know, the one time that I'm like, I got in the morning. And then, you know, that sucks. And because look, she does a lot. Like she does a lot of stuff. It's not like she works, she takes care of Luca, she cooks, she cleans. So I'm not taking anything away from her. I understand where she's coming from. However, I don't want to clean. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to come home from work and clean or set aside a day of one of my only 2 days off to clean.
Right.
You know, so it's just always going to be my logic. I'd much rather pay someone. And I'm not saying she's right or I'm right. I just feel like it is a fair argument to have.
Well, you know, I'm like that with like home improvement stuff. Like, look, man, my dad could do anything with his bare hands. I watched this man build a deck from like wood, a hammer, and nails, like a full functioning deck that you could like have 8 to 10 people on with no problem.
Yeah.
I am not that guy.
Same.
Okay. And that's just, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I am not that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I kind of struggle putting a frame on the wall. And that's just because I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah.
I'm the same.
I just straight up, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I would rather pay somebody to do that and have it done right because I don't know how to do it. I've never really done stuff like that before. I don't know how to do it. So I'd rather pay someone to do it right. And it stimulates the economy. You know what I mean? Like I'll give money to this person who will then spend that money and who spends that money and spends that money. Just like people who give it to me to get in shape.
Yeah.
They don't like need me to get in shape, do they? No, they could probably figure it out. But why when I can figure it out for them?
It's exactly
it's the
what
same
comes to
concept
mind.
to me.
What comes to mind for me?
Yeah.
The economy.
Why?
I'm completely kidding, by the way.
The economy.
It's I don't know how to fucking do it. So I'm going to pay someone to do it. It's funny. We joke about this all the time. Daniela messes with me all the time about this type of thing because, we'll be like, I'm not Bob the Builder. I
No.
Literally, like what you just said, I'm horrible. You'll see, like, even if I go to hang something, it's funny. Most times you'll see like multiple holes because I just eyeball it, dude. I become so good at it though. I'll tell you what, I become so good at it. You know those the mixed tile pictures where you peel and stick and move them? My whole office, I didn't use a level. I didn't use anything. I'm like, I'm good. That's how long I've been eyeballing
We should go level it. We should go measure.
I guarantee you, I'd be shocked if they weren't all pretty damn level.
Dude, every man above like 50 on YouTube right now is cringing.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
going to leave horrible comments.
They're so soft.
Yeah.
Guarantee you.
100%.
That's okay. I'm cool with it. Yeah. It's one of those things where I never did it. I was never into it. My brother is the opposite. My brother is very good at that type of stuff.
Right.
Because he's the guy that's like, I'm not paying someone to do it. He's the opposite of us.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to figure it out.
That's how my dad is. Yep.
I'm
just not that way, man.
Yeah.
Even when I was young, like I didn't want to do stuff like that. I would have rather done stuff with my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just who I am as a person. I think sometimes back to our topic is I think sometimes women think that all men do that stuff.
correct.
Like I should be able to just go out in my car and just change an oil whenever I need to.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but I don't know if that's where a lot of the issues stem from. I don't think that there's a ton of females at home being like, oh, my husband doesn't fix the house up. You know what I mean? I feel like they know what they're getting into typically, unless you, in the beginning, which a lot of us do, we tend to trap people, right? Well, we'll get to that. That's a whole nother topic. I know that females are probably like, oh yeah, I got trapped too. It is you tend to, do stuff that you wouldn't typically do all the time in the beginning of the relationship. And, once you have them, it's like, I got you.
You slow down a little bit.
You got you.
Yeah.
And it's not always on purpose, but
No.
sometimes it is,
right?
right? Sometimes you play a little
Well, look, I tell everybody straight up, like, I don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I will pay someone to do stuff like that. But again, I think we have to remember that not everybody can do that, right? So maybe it is the cause of strain in some relationships where they're like, hey, man, like, I want my house to look nicer.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we can afford the supplies, but we can't afford the help.
Yeah. It's different, I guess.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like what you said on the cleaning side of things. I get that. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. It's not. It's a luxury for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a luxury.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing. Since I can, I would. You know what I mean? If I couldn't, it probably would be a different situation because I don't want to live in a dirty house.
Yeah. No, I don't either.
I definitely would push the limits a lot more than my female counterpart would.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I like a clean house too.
Yeah.
So. That obviously changes things.
I think another major point of contention is, when you have kids, the different styles of raising
Parenting styles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like,
That could be tough.
that could be really tough. I mean, I feel like most people are like at least in the same zip code, but they have like different ways of doing things. Like mom is going to be softer, right? Dad is maybe going to be a little more stern,
yeah.
And I've definitely like gotten in trouble before for like maybe being too stern.
Yeah.
That situation, what do you do there?
That's tough,
Yeah.
obviously. Like you said, I feel that Daniela and I are in the same zip code, like you said.
Yeah.
But at times, for sure, I would say that I wouldn't say that we had issues, but it could have become an issue.
Yeah.
If we let it, if she didn't kind of back down or I didn't back down to whoever felt they were in the right.
Well, what's your mindset when you're being that way toward Luca, right?
when I'm being
like stern.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes you have to be. Yeah. And sometimes I immediately feel guilty about being stern. So sometimes I know that I was too stern, you know? But ultimately when I do it, it's because I feel that I need to. Right. He's walking all over her or us, and it has to stop. Yeah. You know, he's a stubborn little boy.
Oh, so I have a stubborn little girl.
Yeah, he's a lot to handle, and he will walk all over you.
Yeah, Charlotte is the same exact way.
Sometimes you have to, man. But I've had situations many times where I'm like, damn, was that too much? Was that too much?
Yeah. Or maybe like I should have been a little more patient here. Yeah. You know,
maybe I did it too quickly.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that the sternness wasn't needed, but too early.
But like I agree on the mindset thing. Like the way I think about it is that is a very harsh, cruel world beyond that door. Yeah. Okay. Full of terrible people, terrible situations. And like, I need her to be as well prepared for that as humanly possible. You know what I mean? Like she can be very lackadaisical, very carefree, you know, just like her mom, you know, and she'll drop things. She'll stumble over herself. Well, what if she's not paying attention and she walks out into the road? Right? Yeah. So like I've literally freaked out if she's even gone beyond an arm's length from me and we're in the road, you know, because like I need to stress that point that like these things are very, very important. So I feel like I get more stern the more important something is. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Makes sense. But we're all learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like neither of us are the perfect parent.
No.
And I'm talking about Daniela and I, you know, like we always have our days where we'll vent to each other maybe, you know, like it happens. As of recent, you know, I feel like Luca rotates who he wants to be around more. Yeah. And it hurts your feelings. Like it hurts your feelings when he says some stuff. He's smart enough to where he's putting real sentences together, and he's like, you know, like I don't want mommy, I don't want daddy, I don't want, that stings, you know. But at the same time, when you're not the one that's in the situation, I'll be like, you know, babe, he's 3 years old, he's just a baby, like you gotta not take it personal. Yeah. But when the shoe's on the other foot,
of course,
it stings.
Oh, dude, Charlotte told me the other day that she didn't love me.
Yeah, that's.
She goes, I don't love you, daddy. I love grandma. Like, you know, you're capable.
You laugh now, but it's like,
no, at the time, I literally sent her to her room. I was like, get out of my face.
Yeah.
You know, like I want her, again, stern, because I want her to understand what her words mean. Yeah. That's not something you just throw around people. And at the time I was like, I spent all night thinking about it. Like, how the hell could she say that to me? Yeah. But of course now I'm looking back, it's like.
She's a baby.
She's a kid, dude. And
doesn't really know what she said.
No. And of course, like I'm in the moment, I'm trying to get her to eat her food. Yeah. So she's pissed at me. You know, she wants to get up and play, and I told her she can't until you finish that food.
That's an everyday occurrence with Luca. It's like,
every single day.
I don't want to eat. I don't want to play with you. That's his go-to thing. It's like, all right, dude. I don't care. I want you to eat. I don't want to play right now. You know. But sometimes it stinks. Yeah. But look, I guess to bring in the reins here and get back on track, like on the cleaning thing or anything, what other situation would you say is probably a common issue in the household in relationships or marriage aside from cleaning? Because I feel like we kind of gave our opinion. It's which in reality I guess is just a difference of opinion. Like their typical female's opinion is going to be, I'm more than capable of doing it, I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to pay for someone, obviously, or like you said, they can't afford it. That's different. From what I've experienced with guys and myself personally, it's I don't want to clean, and I will pay someone to do it or avoid it, avoid it as long as I can. Yeah. So I guess that's the answer for the females that are listening or watching, that we're just different. We're just different. I think that they don't understand it sometimes. Yeah. So another thing that I was thinking of is kind of relates to the parenting styles. I think a common issue could be, I'll speak for myself, is parenting, right? So like when on the weekends, females are very good at scheduling things like events or going to specific places or, a hayride like what she did tonight. I happened to be sick for the last week, so I didn't go, but she's constantly coming up with ideas and plans for the weekend. I don't know about you, but I'm not that way.
No, I'm not that way.
I love spending time with them both, and especially, rarely I get one-on-one time, but it's awesome when I get one-on-one time with Luca, but I don't sit there and come up with plans. Yeah. And I know that bothers her specifically, and probably a lot of others.
Yeah.
Are you that way? Like, do you come up with plans like that?
Kind of. So my situation is also a little different, right? So I would say before Samantha passed, Samantha took that kid everywhere.
Yeah.
They were always at the beach. They were always going to grandma's. They were going to Orlando without me, going to see her friends without me. You know what I mean? Like, for sure, 100% way better at it than me.
Yeah.
But for me, I'll kind of like surprise her with stuff. Like if I know I got some time to kill, I'll go pick her up and be like, hey, I got a surprise for you.
Yeah.
And pull into the trampoline place. And we'll spend an hour there. You know what I mean? Like, I do that kind of stuff with her, where it's maybe a little more spur of the moment. But again, my situation is maybe because I know that other person isn't there.
Yeah.
So I see it over time where I'm like, oh, wow, like all we've been doing is like going home after work and school, watching TV and going to bed.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe it's time to go do something. Just me and her.
Yeah.
You know, we need to do stuff like that. I don't think Samantha got like upset at me for that. I think she enjoyed doing those things. I think maybe she would get more upset when I didn't want to participate.
Yeah.
Because look, there were times where like, look, man, I'm tired. I've worked all week. You know, maybe I'm training for a bodybuilding show. Like, I'm thinking of my own stuff too, you know? And I've definitely been guilty of like maybe being a little selfish. You know? Yeah.
Same.
I think that's where the problem lies.
I guess 2-part question. What do you have any reason as to why you think that is the case? Like on the not planning side of things. Why do you think it's that way with us?
I don't know. I think that there is always a bit of like selfishness with men, because we have like these, and this is not to say women don't, but like we have these big aspirations, right? And at least I know I do, you know, and a lot of men I talk to, they have these goals and aspirations, whether it be jobs, money, hobbies, whatever. And it takes up the majority of my thinking, of my future planning, you know? So I don't think to like be like, okay, well, next Saturday we're going to the park at 12. You know, I'm trying to think like, okay, 6 months from now I want to have this much in the bank. Or 6 months from now I'm trying to win this bodybuilding show. You know, and that's just kind of like where my brain is.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
You know?
I'm nodding though so much because I'm like, yep.
Yeah, that's just where my brain is. So like I still do those things. You know, like we'll still go to the park and we'll still go to the trampoline place. We'll do all that stuff. But like I'm planning for like the really big picture. You know? And look, there's some selfishness in there too. The bodybuilding stuff, super selfish. That's all about me. But like I think in general, I'm thinking of different things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really for the greater good, in my mind, at least, in my justification.
I'm the same. Again, I enjoy these because I get to learn that I'm not the only one type thing. You know? So it's like, as you're saying all that, I'm like, same, dude. Like, it's never intentional. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm not thinking about them. I'm constantly thinking about them in a different way, right? Like, I'm constantly concerned about everything all at once, you know? And it's like...
because I feel like all that pressure is on me.
Yeah.
You know, even before, like when with Samantha, you know, I felt like it was all on me to make it work, to make it all happen so we could live good lives and like go on vacation and have fun, eat what we want, enjoy ourselves, not have to stress, not have to worry. I felt like all that was on my shoulders.
And I think that's a huge part of it is I think they're so good at being in the moment and just focusing on what's in front of them. And we're not. We're constantly thinking about everything. And I hate it. And we don't enjoy that. That's not fun for us to be stressed out all the time and anxious and stuff like that. But it's... I
can't know how to stop it.
I have to. I can't not
I don't know how to stop it.
I can temporarily do it at times.
Yeah.
And I love it when it does happen, but it's rare.
Yeah.
You know, so I it makes sense like that. It's just I have so much other stuff that I'm constantly thinking about that I don't think about it.
Yeah.
I don't think about it. Like she is constantly talking about events and birthday parties and this and that. She'll tell me earlier in the week, and I it's not on purpose. I don't purposely forget what she's telling me, but she knows. Like she knows she has to tell me again and again and again. It just happened today. I was like, I saw her getting ready. I'm like, should I be getting ready? And she was like, technically, but she knows I'm sick, so she gave me a pass. Yeah, but it happens a lot.
Yeah, it can be very similar with me. I'm just thinking about so much all the time, you know. And I'm sure there are some women out there too who do feel that way, especially single moms. You know, who are, you know, kind of in a position like me where like, look, the buck stops with you. Yeah. Everything stops with you. Yeah. You know, I'm sure they have some aspect to that as well of like, hey, like, what am I doing with my future? What am I doing with my kids' future? And maybe they're great at like the nurturing and loving side of it. Whereas like, I feel like I'm the opposite. I'm really good at like me planning out our future, but I could maybe be a little more present, you know, and like be a little more caring and be a little more like, hey, let's watch Blippi together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to like even sit down for 10 minutes and watch maybe TV with her because I'm like, okay, now I got to do this. Now I got to do that. Now I got to do this. Now I got to do that.
It sucks. It's sad. It is sad at the same time. Look, especially in your situation, it's even harder for you now. So I can't even imagine, but I constantly am trying to catch myself. And we've talked about this before, but I've gotten better. Like I'll catch myself on the phone, talking to clients when they could wait. Yeah. They could wait. Yeah. You know, like, and I've gotten better with that, put my phone away and try to be more aware of that. But it's very, very difficult. We're just wired completely differently. It's undeniable that we're wired completely differently. Yeah. They're made to handle us.
Yeah. But that's why it works. And look, I'm sure there are people who, everybody has like masculinity and femininity in them, you know what I mean, to varying degrees, but men are generally leaning way toward masculine and females are leaning way toward feminine. And like, you know, there's varying degrees of both of those. But like they need to work together. Yeah. We need that femininity. They need that masculinity to balance everything out, right? I mean, that's the way I see it.
I completely agree. Yeah. So it's funny. I'm like in my head, I have so much more that I could talk about, but I'm like, I don't know. We're probably getting close to time to wrap up.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah. So it's like I'm tabling things, you know. But
well, we can make a part 2 of this.
Yeah, I feel like we need to. Yeah. Because I have a lot more that I could talk about, but I guess to be brief, ultimately in part 1, I'll say it seems that again, we are similar in a lot of ways. This is like a common thing, and I think that there's a lot of females that are probably sitting back and like, is it a common thing? You know, like is he supposed to be doing other things that he's not? You know, I feel like that's probably the constant battle for a lot of people. Yeah. And the truth is, like in anything, in any situation, the grass isn't always greener. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the simplest way that I could put it. It's like, can you find someone that's Prince Charming and does everything and fixes the house and builds you a new one and this and that? Maybe. But I guarantee you he'll lack in other areas. Yeah, you know, I
don't think so.
There's no perfect person out there. No. So it goes back to what you said. It's like you got to hope that combined you make a good team and you could figure it out. And it's not to say that we don't have stuff to work on. I know I have plenty to work on in my relationship. Same. As a father, as a husband, as everything. You know, so I'm aware that I need to work on myself, but I think ultimately we need to understand that we're very different counterparts, I guess. You know, like just two completely different types of people, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like my motivation for doing things, I feel like is always for, again, like the greater good.
Same.
You know, and like whether I make the right call or not is a different story.
Yeah. In your mind, most times you do.
I feel like I'm making the right call, but then there are definitely times where I look back and I'm like, I screwed that one.
But your intentions are always good. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah. But the sad thing is, though, man, like we judge ourselves on our intentions, but the world judges us on our actions.
Yeah.
They judge us for what it is rather than what we feel it should be.
Yeah, true.
So even though I may have good intentions at times, I still do make the wrong call on things. And you know, I got to learn from that. I got to learn, okay, well, maybe next time I handle it in this type of way. But my motivation, I feel like for everything I do, is always for like the betterment of me and my kid and my family, and for us to just be elevated. You know, I never want to have to stress and worry over things that we shouldn't have to stress and worry about.
Yeah, I get it.
Because like life is really enough, or can be really hard enough with like legit things like what happened to me. So why would we stress over dumb things? You know, things that are within my control. If something is within my control, I am sure going to try and control it.
But look, I agree with you again, because I'm very similar. I'm constantly thinking about our future and stuff like that. But I think on the flip side, from their perspective, is a lot of them don't care about that stuff. Like, do they want to have a good life? Yes. But ultimately, they want us around and us with our kids and us with them.
Yeah.
And that's really all they care about. Yeah. So I think that's our battle, is a lot of them don't care. So like a lot of the
good ones don't care.
Yeah.
A lot of the good ones don't.
Yeah. Look, I get that. Yeah. You're going to have,
there are the gold digging type. For sure.
Yes. For sure. But then, you know, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
Get away from them altogether. Yeah. But I think that's what makes it hard is our argument to them is irrelevant, because they just care about spending time with us, which isn't so bad. You know, it's like, it's not that we're complaining about it. I'm just trying to give some insight on why we do what we do. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then, you know, I think we're definitely gonna make a part 2 to this.
We have to.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna make a part 2 because as we're talking, there are more things coming. We wanted to keep the episodes a bit shorter because we realize 50 minutes sitting down for a podcast maybe isn't optimal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So doing these maybe 25 to 30 minute episodes may serve people a lot better.
Yeah. Look, my attention span's short, so I can't imagine sitting for it. It's different for us because we'll do it doing cardio or on a long ride.
For sure. So. Yeah, I do it in the car and stuff. But even then, when I do that, like it's in the background. I'm not really 100% paying attention.
You got to be engaged.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to leave it there, guys. Part 2 is going to be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I would say so.
I would say pretty soon. And then, of course, any other topic ideas, leave them in the comment below. Thank you very much for listening. And, of course, subscribe, like, share the video, do whatever you can to help boost this channel. We would deeply, deeply appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Dadtrepreneur. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for future episodes. Stay connected with us on Instagram @Dadtrepreneur Podcast. See you next time.